And let me get you back to something that you and I have talked about before, and that is this war on ISIS. We see territory, Kurdish territory in Syria, that seems in danger of falling to ISIS. We now see Anbar province, which seems to be just one city or so away from being taken over by ISIS. And this is despite 2 months' worth of U.S. or U.S.-led airstrikes. So what is next in this activity against ISIS, whether I know you want to call it a war, whatever you want to call it, what does the U.S. do next?
First of all, they're winning and we're not. And the Iraqis are not winning, the Peshmerga, the Kurds are not winning. And there's a lot of aspects of this, but there has to be a fundamental reevaluation of what we're doing, because we're not degrading and ultimately destroying ISIS. I don't believe that ISIS will take Baghdad, but I think they can take the airport, and that is crippling. And I also think that they can infiltrate into Baghdad with explosives, suicide bombings, etc. They can really dislocate. Well, first thing you got to do is recognize that this present pinprick bombing is not working. Second of all, you need some more boots on the ground in the form of forward air controllers, special forces, and other people like that. You have to arm the Peshmerga, who are using old weapons that are Russian vintage, against ISIS, who's using ours. You have to do, I believe, what Erdogan and the Turks are asking, and that is we create a buffer in Syria, inside Syria, and a no-fly zone. It's immoral to send Free Syrian Army into the barrel bombing of Bashar Assad. And by the way, as we bomb ISIS, Bashar Assad moves in, and he has intensified his strikes against the Free Syrian Army.
Right.
So there has to be, Candy, a reevaluation and a re-engineering of what we're doing, because it's not working.
There are U.S. advisors, as you know, some of them with Iraqi troops, at least in the protection of Baghdad or around Baghdad. You know that there is not public support for any kind of battalions of U.S. soldiers going back to Iraq. There does not seem to be any other country willing to put people inside Iraq to fight ISIS. So where does this go? I mean, if the administration, I'm sure every day they're looking at it and saying, okay, do we need to refigure this? I mean, how do you refigure it given all of the restraints there are in taking this fight to ISIS?
First of all, I'm not advocating sending battalions back in, but
right.
We can do a lot more down at the operating level. We have to understand there's no boundary between Syria and Iraq. Why should we differentiate? Certainly ISIS doesn't. We certainly must give them the weapons and capabilities that they need. But right now, we are going to have effective airstrikes. You can't have that without forward air controllers on the ground. In Kobani, there's no way you can orchestrate air support in that kind of urban fighting. The ISIS has adjusted to these airstrikes. Fortunately for them, we gave them 2 weeks warning. And so this has to be a robust campaign with American forward air controllers and special forces on the ground, supplying weapons to the Peshmerga, and also supplying the Free Syrian Army, and recognizing that you have to go after ISIS and Bashar Assad at the same time, or you will not succeed.
I want to ask you about Kobani. The UN Special Envoy to Syria has warned that if Kobani falls, the civilians that are left in that city, as I understand it, almost half of it now under ISIS control, that they will all be massacred, who are likely to be massacred. Who protects those civilians?
I don't think that it's possible to protect those civilians who are basically trapped within Kobani, and I also agree there will be a massacre. I remember when 8,000 people were ethnically cleansed in Srebrenica, which then galvanized Bill Clinton for us to intervene in Bosnia some time ago. We can't afford to let this continue. And the stronger ISIS gets, the greater the threat to the United States of America. That's what we have to understand, and that's why tough decisions have to be made, and not gradually. We have to completely revamp our strategy, which clearly is not succeeding.
And by revamping, you want more powerful, broader, more expansive airstrikes and boots on the ground insofar as they can be with Iraqi troops and forward-looking for the air assaults. Is that correct?
Buffer zone in Syria, no-fly zone, take on Bashar Assad, the same as we have ISIS. Recognize there's no distinction between Iraq and Syria. Arm the Peshmerga, and let it be known that we are in this thing to win, because it is a threat to the United States of America if they are able to establish this caliphate.
Right.
General Allen has said that it'd take more than a year to retake Mosul, the second largest city. We can't afford that.
Senator John McCain, thank you so much for being with us this morning from Phoenix. We appreciate it.